Hi, my name is Taylin Sharp. I'm a student at Georgetown University, and I'm also with Codex. I have a question. You focus heavily on grassroots and local politics. Can you expand on some of the obstacles that Black women find in running for local politics, and can you expand on the importance of Black women in these roles? Thank you.
Absolutely. Black women have to be represented at every level of politics because we live at every level of lives. We don't simply exist in the federal ether. We do not simply exist in the federal ether, and therefore we have to pay attention to what's happening to our children or to ourselves in an educational setting. That's local politics. We have to understand what's happening with bodily autonomy. That's state politics. We have to know who gets access to funding for capital, for our jobs, and for the businesses we want to start. That's state and local and federal. We've got to pay attention to the constraints on our ability to grow our opportunities. That happens at all levels. And so I start at the grassroots because when you can create the strongest team, those teams then send up your players. I mean, it's kind of like a farm team. Sorry, I use a lot of sports analogies. But if you only have one person at the local level, that person may not make it all the way up. That's why you need as many as possible starting at the most easily accessible level, but it's only easily accessible if there are resources. It's hard for Black women to raise money, in part because it's hard for Black women to ask for money. It's hard to make it through the political systems that give you the right to know that you can ask for money. I operate in a space where I just don't ask for permission. And sometimes I ask for forgiveness, but even that sometimes. Part of it is that we've got to own our authority to do what needs to be done without needing other people to say it's the right thing to do. And so we should run for office when there's an office open, but we should also help our friends run for those offices. And we have to lower our barriers to entry where we expect you to be perfect before you start. If they can learn on the job, so can we. And we can learn at each level of the job. And it's not just about who's holding the office. It's who's the chief of staff, who's making the phone calls, who's writing the press releases. Because the way we tell our stories often determine how our stories are heard. And so we've got to build not just the candidates for local office. My grassroots work has focused not only on who's running, but who's running the campaign, who's running the staff, and who's running their mouth when you are not in the room. And if you think about all of those places, that's how we grow our capacity to run for everything and one day run everything.
Thank you.